I've been working on a couple of illustrations lately, and I've just been spending so much time on the shading on these that I figured this would actually be a really good time to just take a couple of minutes and show you how I'm doing the shading. So what I'm doing here is I'm just starting off by creating one of my leaves. There are a lot of leaves in this drawing because it is part of like a kind of like this natural landscape, and so a lot of leaves, a lot of foliage. So I'm just going to create one of these large leaves here. And so you can see I'm using a very inky pen, and when I decided to shade this, my natural response is to use some kind of like ink wash. But unfortunately, this pen that I'm using, as wonderful as it is not waterproof. So unfortunately, I had to use something else, but it turned out to be a really good thing because what I'm using here, you can see I'm just finishing up the leaf. What I'm going to use here is a Bic pen, which is not usually what I go to, but lately I've just been really trying to practice with it. So for this entire drawing, and probably for quite a few more drawings, I'm going to be resorting to a different kind of pen. So again, this is just a Bic pen. And so I'm going to show you right here how I'm going to do the shading on this thing. So far it looks pretty flat, and I can show you here, if you just apply really light pressure and using very gentle flicking motions, you can start adding some shading. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just starting at the center, kind of from that stem. And so I'm just working my way outward towards this, from the stem. And one thing that you'll realize is I'm not actually drawing a shadow right now. I'm not creating a shadow. What I'm really doing is just creating the actual tone of the leaf. And it's not very evident right now because there's so much white going around. And so it seems like I'm really making a very deep shadow right now, but that's actually not the case. So I'm just going to continue adding these kind of soft, gentle lines here. And it's really important to have a soft touch here because if you go too far, you're going to end up with really intense black lines. And in that case, I could have just used the other pen. So what I'm trying to do is create these kind of grays and lots of little gradients. So what I am going to do is go around the outer edge right now. And so you see I'm using the same motions, just starting from the outside of the leaf. And it is here where it starts to become a little more clear that this isn't actually a very deep shadow. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm working fairly quickly. I have been practicing for a couple of weeks now, so it's starting to become just a little bit easier to use this pen. And so what you're noticing now, hopefully, is that the part that's left white is a highlight. So rather than having to go in with another tool and create the highlight, what I'm actually creating are the tones of the leaf. Because if this were green and we were to translate it into grayscale, it would be some kind of grayish color. And so that's what I'm achieving right here. It's just so satisfying. And it works up so quickly. Once you get the practice in, it works up really quickly. So you can see I'm just working on the right side of the leaf right now, just getting those little colors in. Well, they're not colors, obviously, but in my mind, I'm kind of translating. So I'm just going to keep working my way through here. I'm almost done. And maybe later I might come in and add a little bit more, but I think this is as far as I like to go right now. And so you can see as I reach the bottom here, because I feel like it should be a little darker there, I kind of add just a tiny bit more ink just to darken that area. And everything still looks absolutely fine. So there you go. That is our leaf for today. It's got a little bit more going on. It looks a little more interesting. So that's the result. So let me show you what the drawing looks like. This is what I'm creating. This is the result. So you can see, very interesting, really cool, excellent to play around with. Hope you give this a try. That's it. That's all for today. Bye.